Hey guys, be sure to stick around at the end of the video for important channel updates. Or don't, I can't make you do anything. Sup, ballers? Welcome to another video that doesn't have COVID or politics and oh, yeah, I forgot about that. And yes, I know I haven't fucking shaved in a while, so just don't even put that in the comments, I already know. But regardless of my physical appearance, we are finally going to continue our Pirates journey to becoming a World Series champion. Hey, at least you didn't have to actually wait an entire off-season for this.
To start off, here are the before and after personnel hires. As always, I feel this is a tremendous waste of time to show you, but here it is. For salary arbitrations, I offer contracts near the estimates with a couple of exceptions. Caleb Ferguson agrees to stay on with a 2-year contract worth $6.5 million. These kinds of inexpensive contracts are exactly what I'm looking for here. But the next one, which was with Joe Musgrove, was honestly too rich for my blood at $14 million over 2 years. This isn't a huge contract out of context, but again, we are the Pirates and we are poor.
That's it. I've had it with this dump. We got no food, we got no jobs, our pets' heads are falling off!
I make some trades, of course, the first with the Nationals, who send Antonio Senzatella retaining 35% and 3 minor leaguers for Roman Quinn, Duidas Neverauskas, and a minor leaguer. Senzatella's contract wasn't that big to begin with, and he might prove to be a pretty good value. Next trade is with the Yankees, sending Taylor Jones, Josh Green, and a minor leaguer for Domingo Germán and Garrett Whitlock. I mostly made this trade for Whitlock, who, while not having terrific stats, could prove to be a good depth option, something we severely lack. I make a short drive into Queens to make the next trade, this time with the Mets, who send Taylor McGill, Ali Sanchez, and a minor leaguer for Dalton Varsho and Shogo Akiyama. This was mostly to get rid of Akiyama, who wasn't pulling his weight given his salary. I take the train down to Philly to make a trade with the Phillies. I guess I could have worded that a bit better. They send Rhys Hoskins and Nick Matten for Richard Rodriguez, Ke'Bryan Hayes, and a minor leaguer. You might be thinking that sending Hayes was a dumb idea, and it would be normally, except for the fact that I can't fucking afford him.
Please, sir, I want some more.
What?
Please, sir, I want some more.
More?
All right, stop it. Stop it right there. Now go on, fill up the bowl. Go on. That's it.
Last trade for now is with the Braves, who send Max Fried, CJ Alexander, and a minor leaguer for Tuki Toussaint and Josh Bell. Once again, I simply could not afford Josh Bell, and I at least did improve the pitching a bit. Hansel Robles and Michael Wacha are non-tendered and subsequently released. To prepare for the Rule 5 draft, I DFA James Marvel and Jason Martin, while adding Bowden Francis, Stuart Fairchild, JJ Friedel, Liover Peguero, and Mason Martin to the 40-man roster. Simming through the offseason, we find out that Andrelton Simmons won the Great Glove Award. I feel like there should be a video about this guy's defense. Oh wait, there is! Quick shout out, if you're not already watching Foolish Baseball, you're a fool. We reached the free agency period, and here's some of the available talent that is mostly outside our price range. So instead of buying certified pre-owned, we're going to check out the wholesale options.
Before I go any further, a quick rant on certified pre-owned vehicles. If the car has had a previous owner, it is pre-owned. I don't need you to certify that somebody owned it before I did. It is a shameless marketing ploy and an attempt to make you look like you do more with those cars than you actually do, and it makes me less likely to actually buy a car from you.
I signed Ken Giles to a 2-year deal worth $12 million. One thing to note is that while he is currently injured, he should be back by June. I pick up Garrett Hampson to a 1-year deal worth $1.5 million. Mostly signed him for the defense and speed, and he should be decent off the bench. I tried to make 2 other signings, one with two-way player Michael Lorenzen, originally to a 2-year contract for $8 million, and Noah Syndergaard to a 6-year deal worth $99 million. But, of course, after repeated renegotiations, neither one was going to let me sign them to a team-friendly deal, and by the time I decided to bolt, there weren't a lot of good options left. So instead, I picked up an aging Max Scherzer to a 1-year deal worth $12 million. At least after this year, I'll have more salary open. We make it to spring training, and the only injury we have is to a player that was already injured, Drew Carlton. He experiences a setback and will be out for another 15 months. Not feeling like dealing with this, I decide to release him. We make it to opening day, and after the usual demotions, here are the pitching assignments and lineup that I'm left with. I have many concerns, but I think we are headed in the right direction. As per the usual tradition, I play the opening day game, and this is the lineup that I'm left with. This game was close throughout, and we were still tied at 3 entering the bottom of the 9th, but after loading the bases, Keeper Ruiz comes through with the clutch single into right to walk it off, and the Pirates best the Brewers 4-3. I definitely like to see this kind of grit.
I like grits too.
Wrong kind of grit, Joe.
Would you shut up, man? Listen, who is...
And that's the wrong fucking Joe. Shortly after, we have 2 injuries, the first to Max Fried, who is out for 2 weeks, and more distressing, Nick Madrigal, who is out for 6 weeks. I call up Tucker Davidson and Nick Matten to replace them. These are my new pitching assignments, as well as my lineup. Ken Giles is no longer injured and is sent on a rehab assignment. We reach May having more or less met my expectations with a 13-13 record, a 500 win percentage, and our 3rd in a division. I imagine we would have won at least 1 or 2 more games had it not been for injuries. These are my pitching stats, as well as my batting stats. I make a trade with the Tigers. Check that. The Tigers. Sorry, that was a typo. Sending Blake Weeman, Ian Anderson, DJ Peters, Kevin Padlow, and a minor leaguer for Matt Manning, Joe Jimenez, and 3 minor leaguers. Taking a look at Jimenez's stats, he has excellent stuff and a wicked slider. His control is a bit of an issue, but the guy has worked miracles for me in other runs, so I'm excited. I'm so excited. These are my new pitching assignments. Max Fried is no longer injured and is sent on a rehab assignment. When Ken Giles is no longer injured, I demote Tucker Davidson and Kyle Crick while bringing back both him and Max Fried to the major leagues. These are my new pitching assignments. Nick Madrigal is no longer injured and is sent on a rehab assignment. We make it to June having improved slightly to a 28-26 record, a 519 win percentage, and are now 2nd in the division. It's of course way too early to say this, but if this holds up, we might sneak into a wild card spot. These are my pitching stats, as well as my batting stats. I make a trade with the Nationals, sending Malik Smith and Adam Frazier for Yasiel Puig. I have many reservations about acquiring Puig, but I mostly wanted to make room for Liover Peguero, who I promote to the major leagues. This is my new lineup. Draft time, and we have the number 10 pick this time. Most notably are my number 1 and number 2 picks wanting a combined $9.2 million. I'm a little unclear how I can afford this, but can't afford to acquire free agents. Nick Madrigal is done with his rehab time, and I demote CJ Alexander to make room on the roster. This is my new lineup. Midseason goals time, and Nutter Butter has mixed feelings regarding my performance.
Would you shut up, man? Listen, who is...
See, that was the appropriate time to use that cutaway. We arrive in July holding steady with the 42-39 record, a 519 win percentage, still 2nd in the division. I would honestly be happy if we ended the season with the winning record, so this is encouraging. These are my pitching stats, as well as my batting stats. I make a trade with the Marlins, sending Max Fried, Andrelton Simmons, Mike Tauchman, and 2 minor leaguers for Sandy Alcantara and Spencer Torkelson. You might be wondering why I made this trade, and in addition to bolstering our offense with Torkelson, Alcantara has the potential to be an inexpensive setup man. And in terms of value to the team, I think we came out ahead. To make this trade work, I call up O'Neal Cruz, who apparently has been accused of vehicular manslaughter since I recorded this. Yeah, it's been that long since I recorded the gameplay for this.
What are the odds that the Pirates have a pedophile and a homicidal drunk on their roster at nearly the same time? It's like the reverse lottery ticket, where instead of winning $1 million, you just go to prison and get shivved in the shower. It should be noted that the Pirates organization stands behind Cruz and says there's no evidence that he was drunk during the accident, so please don't sue me.
These are my new pitching assignments, as well as my lineup. Nick Matten is out for 4 weeks, and I call up CJ Alexander in his place. This is my new lineup. Last trade of the season is with the Reds, sending Antonio Senzatella and Michael Feliz for Amir Garrett and 2 minor leaguers. Garrett has a rather checkered history with the Pirates, but what can I say? I like guys with balls.
He said it! He said it!
To make this trade work, I call up Blake Cederland. These are my new pitching assignments. We make it to August having improved significantly with the 58-47 record, a 552 win percentage, 2nd in the division. I am really liking our chances for a playoff run at this point, even though I'm not entirely sure how we're doing it. These are my pitching stats, as well as my batting stats. I make no roster moves at this time. Part of our success comes from Jack Patterson, who has had a breakout year so far with a 1.48 ERA, .85 whip, .2 home runs per 9 innings, a 2.98 ERA+, 2.6 wins above replacement, and 73 innings pitched. This guy has been absolutely dominant this season. As per the usual tradition, I play the game after the trade deadline, and this is the lineup that I chose. This game was not a nail-biter, but it might have been had it not been for this 3-run home run by Trey Barrera in the bottom of the 5th inning, as well as a 4-for-4 day from Garrett Hampson, which allowed us to coast to a relatively easy 7-4 win over the Marlins. We're looking pretty damn good right now. Shortly after, Garrett Hampson is out for 1 to 2 weeks, and I call up Robbie Glendening to replace him. This is my new lineup. Nick Matten is no longer injured and is sent on a rehab assignment. Garrett Hampson is also no longer injured and is also sent on a rehab assignment. And TJ Friedel is suspended.
All right, yeah, get him the hell out of here, will you, please?
We arrive at September seemingly defying the odds with a 76-57 record, a .571 win percentage, and are actually first in the division. Assuming we don't completely shit the bed this month, we are likely heading to the playoffs. These are my pitching stats, as well as my batting stats. For roster expansion, I demote Robbie Glendening and bring back up Nick Madrigal, Garrett Hampson, and Garrett Whitlock to the Major League roster. These are my new pitching assignments, as well as my lineup. Jack Patterson, the aforementioned pitcher having an amazing season, managed to go on an 11-game win streak. Freaking sweet. We make it to the end of the season having surprised everyone, including myself, with a 94-68 record, a .580 win percentage, and our first in the division. Ladies and gentlemen, we are headed to the playoffs. These are my pitching stats to end the season, as well as my batting stats. Checking back in on Jack Patterson, in almost double the innings since the last time, he closed the season with a 1.90 ERA, 1.08 WHIP, a 2.34 ERA plus, and was worth 4.5 wins above replacement. This guy was absolutely brilliant this season, and I'm a fucking great manager for putting him on my team.
Yes, Jerry Smith. Okay, fair enough.
We must set our playoff roster, and here are the pitching assignments and lineup that I went with. We cruised to the NLDS, taking out the Nationals in 4 games, and then beat out the Padres in the NLCS in 6, and somehow, we have managed to find ourselves in the World Series after only 2 1/3 seasons running this ragtag budget team.
Inconceivable!
I gotta be honest, I really thought it would take at least one more season to become a playoff contender, so we must have really been lucky along the way. But since we're here, let's roll the dice one more time and see if we can take home a trophy. Here we go.
Here we go. Is the last number a 3? Yes!
How? I mean, think about this. We had one of the smallest markets in baseball. We had one of the worst teams in baseball when I took over, one of the worst farm systems in baseball, and one of the lowest payrolls in baseball, and we just won the World Series. The Orioles challenge that I did last year was hard because we had bad contracts, but this time we had so much working against us, and poof, now we've won. And I have no idea how. I'm not even happy about this. This was easier than it should have been. Either I'm really, really good at this game, or this game is extremely easy to exploit. And I'm willing to believe it's the game. But regardless of my disappointment that we actually won so easily, be sure to like, comment, and most importantly, subscribe. And for the love of God, will you please go out and vote already? I don't even have a joke about this. Seriously, go fucking vote. Like, now. Stop watching this and go fucking vote. So for that important channel update that I previously mentioned, over the last few months, I've been dealing with the aftermath of COVID basically costing me my job, a myriad of issues from being sued to having a cretin of a roommate yelling at me about toilet paper, and I'm honestly just struggling to get by at this point. I've not had the time to dedicate to this channel at all, unfortunately, and it's not looking like I'm going to be able to have much time in the future to deal with it. That's part of what took this video so long to make. That and the fact I don't really want to make out of the park videos anymore. So after this video, I do not know if I will be able to release anything in the future for a while, whether it be short term or long term. But I am still streaming on Twitch in the meantime, and as I did in the previous video, the link is in the description. I do want to thank the loyal subscribers that have stuck with me through the inconsistent uploads. I promise you, as soon as shit gets better, I'm going to put my attention back into this full time. And by full time, I mean at time when I'm not like working a job, because again, this produces no income for me. But until then, it has been an absolute treat bringing you content that at least somewhat distracts you from the shitty world outside. And until I see you again, Johnny Balls signing out.